right, let's get started. Well, listen, good morning and welcome everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We want to first of all thank you all for joining us today. I'm Rajesh Midha, Bottle Rocket's President and Chief Experience Officer, and I know I speak for all of us on the webinar today when I say we're tremendously excited that each and every one of you are here. For our future partners, we hope this session helps you learn more about what it's like to work with Bottle Rocket, a bit about who we are as people, our value system, our approach to work. And for those of you on who have worked with us in the past or are even currently working with us, we hope this is a bit of a refresher and moreover demonstrates our commitment to open, transparent sharing and communication. So here's how we've set this up. I'm joined by a handful of colleagues who cover all parts of our business, and we're going to address some of the common questions that we get all the time. We're going to try to make it through about 8 to 10 questions, and we want you to feel free to just listen, or if you have specific questions, please use the Q&A function, which is located at the bottom of your screen, and we'll save some time at the end to address anything that comes up. I also was asked to remind you that you're welcome to submit questions anonymously as well, totally up to you. So just make sure as you're asking a question, you check that anonymous box if you would like the question to be anonymous. Anything's on the table, our culture, our delivery process, our differentiators, our people. We're excited to share. We really believe in authenticity and openness, and it's only through that candor that you're going to be able to select the right partner for you. So let's get started. All right, first off, no matter what type of work we are being considered for, we know that one of the most important evaluation criteria has to do with people and fit. And that's the same way we look at bringing people into our business. We ask questions like, do we want to work with these people? Do they have values similar to my organization and myself? What will it be like to work with them? Well, we'd like to answer what it would be like to work with Bottle Rocket. So with that, panelists, hello. At the beginning of each question, please state your name, your role, and a quick tidbit about your function within the organization so that everyone gets a chance to know you a little bit. All right, here we go. So Jocelyn, let's go over to you and start with perhaps a question in and around how we help our clients to achieve success, how we measure that success, and how do we make sure that we fulfill our commitments that we made as we were coming to a partnership with our clients.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rajesh. And good morning, everyone. My name is Jocelyn. I lead our client success team. I've been with Bottle Rocket for right at 9 years now. And I'm super excited to share our approach to achieving client success at Bottle Rocket. And I'll just get right to it. So the way we approach it is a very strong partnership between 3 critical roles within our organization. And those being the client partner, the product manager, and the project manager. And while each role has a specific area of expertise across business, product, and delivery, we found that collectively, if we are intently focused on a few key areas with those 3 key roles, we will find success. So let me run through the 4 areas of focus. The first thing is exceeding our clients' expectations in terms of how they're cared for while they're working with Bottle Rocket. In the same way that we are focused on our user experience through our products that we deliver to market, we're also very focused on how our customers are experiencing working with us. Number 2, meeting our clients' business ambitions by optimizing the outcomes they are looking to achieve. And we do this not only by delivering amazing work, but what differentiates Bottle Rocket is we're also ensuring that we're providing value, what I call beyond the build. And so what do I mean by that? So I mean, for example, a couple of things. Through advising and coaching and providing strategic guidance to our clients, whether that's connecting our stakeholders to other digital leaders across the brands that we serve, to share knowledge and just learn about their experience and their digital journey, Or another example of this is supporting our clients through our marketing efforts. Jana, who you'll meet eventually, she leads our marketing team, and we also help our clients amplify their brand voice through our social channels. We provide opportunities for speaking engagements. We help you build case studies. We are collaborating on thought leadership, and we essentially continually strive to position our clients to win. So that's beyond the build. The third one is another focus, and it's this notion of velocity to value, or said another way, how do we deliver the maximum amount of value for our clients in the shortest amount of time? And you'll hear a little bit more about that later today. And certainly, last but not least, is delivering the highest quality product on time within the expected budget. Now, in terms of how we measure success, there's 5 key approaches to this. Some are more tangible than others. But as leaders of these groups, I'm really looking at 4 key areas of our client's user journey, if you will. So the first area of focus is on the early stages of our new client relationships and how things are going. And so I'm looking at things such as tone and tenor of our working relationship, how our client stakeholders are feeling. Do our clients feel like they're a part of our team? Am I hearing partnership language like we, us, one team? And do our clients feel heard and part of the process? And not like we're going off in a silo and then popping up months and weeks later and they have no idea what we've been doing. So the second thing we focus on in the part of the journey is when we're further into that relationship, we want to make sure that we are keeping an eye on how our collective teams are moving through conflict. Because while our experiences that we build are beautiful and flawless at the end, it is a lot of work that is extremely complex, it's complicated, it's messy, and there's landmines everywhere on that path to that beautiful delivery. And in the early stages, there can oftentimes be turbulence, and that's okay, because that's where we're aligning on aspirations, we're gaining shared meaning, and we're setting our working norms. And in my experience over the past 9 years, how we recover from mistakes as a collective group, uncovering each other's blind spots or unknowns, has been a key indicator of achieving amazing success in our partnerships and with the products that we're delivering to market. And then thirdly, once we get into development, we're highly attuned to the identification of gaps along the way. And so we have an awesome tool that we use called the gap analysis, where we're focusing on areas of potential gaps across the following areas: knowledge and skills gaps, team dynamic gaps, context and culture gaps. And when we see we're struggling in any of these areas, that's when we'll leverage that tool. And then certainly post-delivery, number 4, staying connected to measure the results of the products we've built. We want to continue to be connected in that continuum, even post-delivery, to ensure that we're looking at the results, we're continuing to provide strategic insights and recommendations on where you want to invest next, to really bolster and support that acquisition, retention, and growth cycle. And then finally, we leverage more quantifiable measures, which is an NPS type of Vantage survey. We'll send this out to our clients twice a year, and we'll gain some quantifiable feedback and put action plans for improvement in place where we're missing client expectations. So that's a quick summary of how we approach client success at BottleRocket. Rajesh, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Jocelyn. No, it's great. I like listening to all of the amazing things that we do because, you know, I wonder sometimes just how passionate our people are to go out and set all of these things up in such a professional manner. And I know for those of you that don't know, before I worked at BottleRocket, I was a client of BottleRocket. So I actually hired BottleRocket into one of the companies that I was building. And I was so impressed with not just the capability as it related to design and product and technology, but also in terms of these softer things that make such a major impact in a project success. So thank you for sharing a little bit there. So building on that, maybe we'll go to Kirby. And Kirby, maybe you could talk a little bit about what does it look like from a client side for the first 30, 60, and 90 days of an engagement? How do we bring to life some of the things that Jocelyn was talking about? So Kirby, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Kirby Shaw. I'm the Senior Director of Project Management here at BottleRocket. I've been here almost 10 years now, so they can't get rid of me. No. So I want to talk about, we talk about the first 30, 60, 90 days, but really I want to focus on those first few weeks because those first few weeks are very critical for us because there's a lot of important activities that are going to be happening at the beginning of our engagement that are really going to set us up and make sure we start to hum as a team. We're going to spend those first few weeks or two getting onboarded, getting everyone grounded in what are we building? What are our goals? What is this product? And that includes our team and your team. Everyone will be getting up to speed with the product, the goals, what we're trying to achieve, what are we going to be delivering, and most importantly, how are we going to work together as a team? We have team members in Dallas, in different states, in potentially different countries. And so it's going to be really important that we spend those first couple of weeks talking about what does that look like logistically. We will be setting up our tools for communication. We're going to be documenting things. We're going to be getting access to all the assets and tools that we need. And that's something for you guys to keep in mind. We may be asking for a lot those first few weeks, but it's really because we're trying to get ourselves set up so that we can move as fast as possible. So that could be asking for any of your brand assets, any of your API documentation, any access to tools that we're going to need. Maybe we're working out of your tools or you're working out of ours. And that's another important aspect. We want to work as one team, and it's important that we set up our communication tools so that everyone has that access and transparency. And then also during that time, we're going to be putting together our project plan. Like, how is this all going to play out? We're going to be doing a kickoff between your team and ours to discuss our logistics. And most importantly, during that time, we're going to be conducting a DAISY. If you've never heard of that, you've probably heard of a RACI, but we have found that a DAISY actually provides us a lot more clarity around our roles and responsibilities. And we can talk more about that later. But this is really going to lay that foundation for the rest of our engagement so that we assure till we get to that velocity and start working together as a cohesive team right out of the gate. And then once that has happened, those activities at 30, 60, 90 days are really going to be evaluated based on the type of engagement we're doing with you. Our clients are in all different types of their product cycle, right? Maybe they have no product, maybe they have a well-developed product, and we can help you at any stage. And so those activities will be defined based on the type of work we're doing for you.
Cool. Thanks, Kirby. Yeah. I think one of the things that I've noticed, again, I've worked on lots of projects that haven't gone well. And I've worked on some projects that have gone really well. And those first few weeks and setting up the right processes and making the right relationships across the team and delineating on different responsibilities and who's responsible for what and how decision-making happens, how communication takes place. I think all of that is so important for building to success.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. They don't think about that. They want to get straight to the work. And it's like, actually, we're going to move a lot faster if we set that foundation before we actually get to the work. So it's very important and something that we hold very close.
Yeah, and I'm always impressed with how quickly we can set that foundation.
Yeah,
historical precedent of not doing it. So
yeah, no, there's great frameworks and tools.
Experience.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Kirby. All right, well, let's go perhaps a different direction here and talk a little bit about the design process. So, Matt, maybe share with us a little bit about how Bottle Rocket approaches the design process, how we collaborate with clients through that process, perhaps some of the things that have worked really well or some of the challenges we've had, anything around the creation and design side, Matt.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rajesh. Hey, everybody. My name is Matt Smith, Director of Experience Design here at Bottle Rocket. Basically focused on the user experience from a strategy perspective and also a visual design perspective. And I think to answer your question, Rajesh, I'd like to kind of break it out into maybe three parts that I'm sure everybody on the call is interested or is familiar with. And that's the what, the how, and the why of our design process, right? And so when we get into the what of the design process, it's probably not all that different from what a lot of people on the call right now are familiar with. We ground ourselves in business, user, market, industry research. to identify gaps and opportunities. We build artifacts like personas and customer journeys and service blueprints to help us kind of define what the wants, needs, and pain points are so that we can take a very user-centric approach to ultimately what we're designing. We create concepts and wireframes and designs to bring the products to life and answer many of the questions that we're uncovering in some of those previous research phases. And super important is we test and test and test everything all along the way with our users. And we do that to make sure that one, we don't get too far down the path, right? And something that we're thinking is the right solution, but really to identify that the solution that we're designing is the right one. And we need that validation from our customers, because too often we tend to think we know the right answers, but our users and our customers often tell us something very different. Throughout this process, we do this side by side with our clients, our product managers, business strategists, project managers, client partners, and our tech counterparts. And we do that to ensure that we're not only staying connected to the user, but what we're proposing is financially viable and it's technically feasible. And so it's probably not very different. That process is probably very familiar to a lot of you guys out there right now. Personally, what I love is really when we get into the how we do it and the why we do it. And when we go into our design approach, our focus is not only to get it right, but to get it right as fast as possible. And so what we do is employ what we call a lo-fi to hi-fi approach, which basically means that we start off using sketches on sticky notes, napkins, whatever it might be, that are often snapped as pictures on our iPhone, and they're shared over with clients immediately because we want that immediate feedback. We really believe that working in an open, honest, and transparent manner is most successful, and not retreating back to this dark design cave. And then a couple weeks later, we emerge with this big ta-da and a solution that really may or may not be right. And if it's not right, then we've lost time, we've lost time, we've lost money, and we've delayed that realization of a true collective and collaborative value that we're trying to get with our clients. Starting out simple, rough, and fast, it really allows us to get to a place of alignment and move to a more polished hi-fi design much, much quicker. And to be honest, in today's remote work environment that we all find ourselves in, we found tools that allow for constant iteration and feedback that in a lot of ways are making us better and stronger than before. It's tools like Miro, Zoom, Slack, and a host of others really help us drive to a more collaborative approach with our clients, on a day-to-day basis. If I were getting into the why, oh, sorry, go ahead, Rajesh.
No, I thought you were taking a pause there, Matt. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was going to build on your point of this idea of like iterative design. And I think that's the theme of iteration and rapid cycles and moving things forward and seeking feedback. I think thematically that goes all the way across our business, whether that's product prioritization, even whether it's, sketching out a future technology, architecture, that those iteration cycles, I feel like that's the best way of bringing digital product and service and experience to market. But please go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, no, 100% agree, Rajesh. I think, that really does get into the why of our design approach. And, our focus is to get something in the market as quickly as possible so that we can immediately start to learn from users and test it and iterate on it and evolve the product in a successful way. But getting there really can have its challenges sometimes if we don't have three specific things in place. And I think this is sort of building on what you were just talking about, Rajesh. Those three things that we found, if we don't have in place from the jump, make a project a little more challenging than probably should be. One is clarity, one is alignment, and one is transparency, right? And so from the beginning of every single project, it's crucial, and Kirby talked about this too, that we have clarity around the goals and expectations for the user, for the product, and the business. And Alex will talk a little bit about this from a product standpoint too. The second thing is all around alignment, and that's alignment for you guys on the call and our teams internally around what the product's purpose is, what the goals are, what's the path moving forward, so that as we design, we have all these things in mind that set us up for success in the future. And then finally is transparency. And that's just around day-to-day communications and feedback, right? We're all grown-ups. Some things we're going to do are wrong. Some things we're going to do are right. And getting that feedback, that real honest and true feedback, helps us get to a place of success much, much quicker.
Yeah,
So yeah,
cool.
that's really overall our design approach, Rajesh.
Terrific. I love hearing about it. And I also want to just commend not only our design teams, but all of our teams that are represented here on the call and back at Bottle Rocket Shop. The adoption of the digital tools to be able to do this work and in the midst of a pandemic, I mean, it's just phenomenal how there has been a complete adaptation to this iterative design approach in a digital fashion. And, you know, for anyone who's on the webinar and listening and trying to seek to make their own teams productive, for free and for fun, we'd love to share how we've developed our tool stack in order to make this work very, very seamless and productive. Okay, so this is so fun. I mean, I love that we're all together and talking about this. I'm gonna maybe run it over to Alex because I feel like it's such a nice build as we think about the design process. It's just as important to make sure that we're prioritizing things correctly, that we're road mapping for clients, that we're helping to align stakeholders against North Star metrics. So Alex, talk a little to us about the product group and our product chops at Bottle Rocket.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, everybody, Alex Cohen, Director of Product and Client Success here at Bottle Rocket. You know, a key responsibility that we collectively have here at Bottle Rocket is really to ensure that our clients are making better, higher quality product decisions at the end of the day. And we do that by quickly rolling up our sleeves and answering a few critical but interconnected questions. And one, it's, are we solving real customer problems? That's an easy question to ask, a very difficult one to answer, but we can do it quickly. Do we have the necessary tools, systems, and resources in place to support this new experience? And then thirdly, will the experience that we are aiming to build actually provide an economic return to the business? Those three questions are critical. And so we were talking a little bit earlier about validation. How do we rapidly validate those three questions so that we can get to market quickly with something that we know is viable? So from there, we'll align on this product approach, and then we'll start to inform the roadmap and then breaking it down into shippable pieces of software that really truly bring value to market. And then our agile approach kicks in from a design and development perspective, and our sprints begin and we're off to the races. And we have teams of experts to really effectively prioritize the work and drive velocity in meaningful ways that, you know, that can be done in a lot of various methods. But, you know, when you think about gathering requirements and writing stories and validating assumptions earlier, all that is a part of the agile methodology. And we find ways to not only prioritize the right stories and the right features, but prioritize the right work efforts in order to get the right product to market quickly. And that, at the end of the day, is what we're after. And so, you know, as we move through this development life cycle together, our teams are there to ensure that these proper strategies are in place. Nothing is getting dropped. We're measuring progress. We're iterating quickly. And then, of course, we're finding opportunities to grow the product. We have a team passionate about chasing the next big opportunity for you guys, which is going to solve a meaningful problem for your customer, which in turn is going to solve a meaningful problem for your business. And so at the end of the day, we've got a strong product team that is with support from design and technology and project that is looking to move fast, but is also looking to move in the right direction. And we're going to validate our way into that at every step. So that's how I see the world. Rajesh, back to you.
Yeah, cool, Alex. And I don't know if anyone wants to build on any of that thinking, but I do just want to call out for those that are perhaps less familiar with how great software is made. You know, a lot of models that we're seeing, you know, come out of a world of Google-backed startups. And there is this trifecta of design, product, and technology as the core of a team to come through and think about how do we design, prioritize, and build the right things. And then surrounding that nucleus is, of course, our client partners, our project management teams, our oversight from different leaders across our business. And of course, also in the case of Bottle Rocket, our network. And our network can help with things like amplification of of products and services, partnerships with other key companies within the ecosystem. But right now, in this conversation, we just heard from Matt on the design side and Alex from product side. And so Al, I'm going to go to you as that nucleus trifecta and perhaps ask you to talk about engineering, technology, and in particular, how do we ensure that the systems and solutions that we're building aren't just good for today, but are also scalable for tomorrow?
You know, that's half the battle, to be totally honest. So Al Nolan, I've been with Bottle Rocket for a couple of years, loved every minute of it. I was charged with heading up a solution architecture practice. So we deal with technology architecture, solution architecture, even enterprise architecture. And to answer your question directly, it's enterprise architecture thinking. That's how we build software that not only solves problems of today, but starts to open up questions for tomorrow as well. Engineering is not just about code. It's about thinking and problem solving and integrating into program management and product management. We've got to get that type of stuff right before any lines of code are written. We're not just thinking about apps either. We're thinking about client organizational growth. Does the organization have the team to actually build the products that we're looking for? Do they need to farm the work out? Do they need to find partners? And if it's us that works with them, that's great too. We certainly want that as well. But how do we charge towards a connected customer experience? And that's usually more than just software. That's going to be some back-end systems. That's going to be operations at the physical locations. We've got engagements right now where we're helping people think about the omni-channel play. Again, no code written just yet, but we're helping them think about what these things look like at their organization. So if we get operations right, it's a little easier to build. But in terms of projects, one of the things we do is competitive analysis. I want to see what appetite the organizations that we work with have for charting a new path. Sometimes clients just want to compete. Sometimes they want to chart new territory, and they've got the appetite for that. They've got the budget for that, right? They've got stakeholders that are comfortable with taking those risks. We want to find out what that appetite is and find out if we need to buy software or build something from scratch because nothing else is out there. That happens pretty often. And again, no lines of code have been written. We're just helping them think about the future. Now, we do like writing code, and when we get to that part, I think we're pretty great at it. But it starts with quality and security. So one of the things that we pride ourselves on is our quality assurance team is probably the biggest team at Bottle Rocket, right? More than our developers, more than sales, more than every other group. So we're thinking about how to get the quality product out to as many customers as possible and make sure that we're not buggy, and that we're thinking about the future with every product release that we have. That's quality. Security. Not only do we have a security focus internally, but if we build something, obviously we want that separation of concerns. So we've got a lot of outside partners that we reach out to so we can remain objective in our exploration of things that we build. So I think quality and security is something that we get started on really quickly. But here's something else I think is interesting. Being part of the Ogilvy network, we're connected to hundreds of technologists. So there's no limit to what we can build or deliver or what we can accomplish. But Bottle Rocket engineers themselves make up a big part of that, to be totally honest. We've got an iOS practice, Android practice, a web practice. And it's not just a bunch of engineers that you'll never see. These engineers are writing blogs. They're contributing to the development community. They're speaking on panels. They're even contributing to Forbes articles, for God's sakes, right? So this is not just a bunch of technologists in some dark room coding. They're actually thinking about the future of their disciplines, not just the code that they're writing for a project. So that was one of the things I thought was really interesting when I joined a couple of years ago. We also have integration specialists who I've partnered with the most, to be honest, because what usually happens is when enterprises want to do something interesting, they usually have to change operations. Operations usually change ERPs and those like enterprise systems. So we've got to work with our server team, which we are growing here at Bottle Rocket as well, to make sure we get the integrations right to where our platform development teams have everything that they need to get started. These integration specialists work in technology enablement like middleware, server development, cloud computing. These are things that we're going to help you think about and we can actually get implemented for you. One of the other things I think is interesting about our process is architecture. We've got technology architects that are low-level thinkers in terms of specific disciplines, iOS architects, web architects, that type of thing. We also have solution architecture and enterprise thinking. This lays out the foundation of what it is we're about to build and how we're going to integrate that into your organization. We now have a group of about 10 architects, which is actually pretty uncommon with our competitors. So I think that's something that's really interesting about Bottle Rocket as well. And that doesn't stop, all right? That's the water's edge in terms of the true process pieces. But then we've got the stuff that we love too. We've got accessibility clubs. Like, just think about that for a second. People that love accessibility so much that they've tried to started their own channels to talk about how do we meet the customers where they are, no matter where they are. And that might mean that someone has a disability. Well, we want to think about those things too. If we're building experiences for the world, we've got to think about everybody. We've got machine learning clubs. We've got something a little bit more strategic, I think is interesting, a cross-platform development club. That might sound boring to a lot of you, but iOS and Android projects seem to carry the heft of budget sometimes. Well, sometimes a customer wants to engage in mobile, but they also want to try something different. They want a proof of concept that's a little less expensive, maybe less resource intensive. You're still going to have some price associated, but with the cross-platform tools like React Native, our favorite is Flutter, we're going to help you arrive at those same proofs of concept without the weight and maturity that comes along with iOS. We're still going to get implemented fantastic tools that are mature, that are secure, but it might actually have a lower price point. So that was kind of our strategy and business development team meeting the technology. And we've actually formed a group to help think about those types of things too.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, awesome. You know, I love hanging around Bottle Rocket because I meet all sorts of different people who are passionate about interesting things that I find exciting. And it lights me up listening to you. Wow. Okay, so we've talked about a lot associated with Bottle Rocket's competencies, I feel like, in the last 10 or 15 minutes. I want to slightly shift gear now and maybe ask Rachel to have the deep empathy that we have for our customers, our users, our clients' customers. How do we have that deep empathy for our clients? So what is it that our organization as Bottle Rocket, what do we do to help our clients grow and succeed? Rachel, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Rajesh. Rachel Southard. I'm a client partner here at Bottle Rocket, so thanks for having me on the panel today. I'm excited to be here. So in short, my answer is our job as client partners is to make your job as our clients easier. At the end of the day, my job is to make your job easier. When you choose Bottle Rocket as your partner, we understand that you have your own internal and external stakeholders that you are held accountable to, whether that's your board members or your customers. At the end of the day, you are expected to deliver. So my job, our job as a client partner, is to ensure that the Bottle Rocket team, all of the competencies that you've been hearing from today, are going to deliver amazing, powerful experiences that exceed your expectations and the expectations of your stakeholders. That is how we make your job easier. We do that by really orchestrating all of the moving parts that it takes to create experiences that really drive that emotional connection between your clients and your brand. And I use the word orchestrating purposefully because a lot of times we use the analogy of an orchestra conductor when we think about our role as a client partner. And when you think about what an orchestra conductor does, they are, controlling the pace of the music, and they know when to pull in the right sounds at the right time to control the sound to create this amazing musical experience. And just like an orchestra conductor, that's kind of what client partners are doing. We are looking at your whole business holistically and all of the functions within your business and how they play together, and where your company sits in context of the industry that you're in, and looking for opportunities for growth. You know, it's not just about that one project or that one product that we're building, but it's how does that fit into the overall goals of your company and where you are in the industry. And you know, we look for those opportunities to bring in the right people at the right time. You heard from some amazing competencies and disciplines today. Understanding your business, my job is to look and see, oh, this is a great opportunity to bring product in or business strategy in, or reach across our Ogilvy network and pull in the right partner at the right time. So you can see how we're constantly orchestrating growth for your brand and really driving towards that more powerful experience. Rajesh, I don't know if you have any other questions or want to add to that.
It's cool. I don't know if anyone wants to build on that. I know a lot of you work with clients very directly. Just give everybody a moment.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say with technology and a lot of the tech assessments that we do, we stay in close contact with our client partner and client success teams because we want that ear directly with the customer. We want that to interrupt our work, to be totally honest, and make sure that we're on the right track, because we're usually building something that's brand new to the industry. So we want that connective tissue. So we appreciate the group quite a bit.
You know, one other thing that I'll just add to that really fast is I think one of the things I love about Bottle Rocket is our ability to adapt to a situation. There's no single playbook for how we work with a particular client or a particular project, because every situation is unique. It takes a lot of transparency, a lot of quick work, and a lot of quick relationship building early on that Kirby was talking about and that everybody was talking about, so that we can adapt to your style. Not that you have to adapt to our style. We meet you where you are from a product perspective and just from a working relationship perspective. And that's something that I think a lot of our clients really respect and gain a lot of value out of.
Yeah, there's a lot of improv happening in our role, right? So we understand all the time our clients come to us like, oh, the board is going a different direction. We need to do this now. Great, we're on it. We're pulling the teams together. We're moving with you as things are changing daily.
And what is so great about the client partner, as Al kind of alluded to, you know, as a project manager, you start to get really deep in the weeds, right? You are watching all the little things, and you can sometimes forget that larger mission as you're trying to accomplish these finite goals.
Yeah.
And so client partners, product, they lift us up and go, okay, guys, are we still doing the right thing? Are we still moving in the right direction? And they kind of check us. And then we balance them by going, okay, we can do that, but we have this goal, you know. So it's like an orchestra. We all have our parts, and it's just this. It's really great when it's all humming together on what we can each bring to the table.
Love that. Thank you. No, thank you for that additional context, everyone. Okay, so I want to just encourage people that if they have questions, they can, of course, post those. So please go ahead and post those, and we'll either answer them live or in the chat themselves. And again, you can post those publicly or anonymously. I do want to go and talk a little bit about what motivates our teams. And Andrew, maybe I could ask you to start this one off.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. And first of all, Rajesh, thank you for asking me to hang with this crew. I love all of these people, and so it's so cool to be doing this together. Good morning, everyone. I'm Andrew Seven. I'm Bottle Rocket's EVP of Revenue. I look after our customers, and those are new customers. Those are existing customers. Those are our customers and friends that may no longer be our customers for whatever reason. And what motivates me is being with this whole team and our customers. As it relates to the daily activity of growing our company and growing our clients' businesses, nothing gets me out of bed more than people, right? And that starts by carrying ourselves internally as one, a team, and hopefully you're seeing that here. Number two is partners, and number three, ready for this, friends. Like that's where we're heading on parts of this journey. How we carry ourselves goes such a long way and culturally sets the tone for all of our interactions, our business relationships, and ultimately the friendships that render into what we call clients. Our motivations are to be valuable. Our motivations are to be open, honest, and vulnerable. Our motivations are to be challenged and to be challenging. And our motivations are to build trust and obviously to be trusted. We're motivated by a core goal of helping our clients grow, straight up. I'm going to break that down just for a second. Grow your brand, grow your business financially, expand your customer engagement, and do the same with employee engagement and many more things. If we can do all of those things without pretense, we all go faster. So our business has proven this out over many years, and that's expressed through a tremendous amount of value that you could call continued engagement with lots of customers. And I'm really proud of all of that for our business and for our customers. I was reminded of this just yesterday as a client of ours joined an internal meeting and shared a personal story as part of a larger topic and agenda. And without going into all the details, it warmed me to see him in our environment with our team as a customer being vulnerable, open, and honest. I'm so motivated to see something like that happen because it means not only does the nucleus that Rajesh talked about render itself in our business relationship with that person, he felt so comfortable to come be with us as a friend. And that certainly motivates me, Rajesh.
Cool. No, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate your perspective. And I know that if I were to ask every one of you, you would all share something with me. And just in the interest of time, I'm not. But I also echo, Andrew, what you've shared, that a part of what motivates me is the opportunity to serve, and it's to serve this team of people that I work with, as well as our clients and our clients' customers. So awesome. So we're doing great. And I am wanting to make sure we give our friend here, Peter, a chance to share a little bit. Peter, maybe I could ask you, I think picking an organization to partner with is a lot about what that organization stands for today, a lot about where that organization comes from, but it's also about where that organization is going. So maybe I could ask you to share a little bit about how Bottle Rocket continuously grows and evolves.
Yeah, absolutely. So hey, everyone, I'm Peter Klayman. I lead our business strategy practice here at Bottle Rocket. And so when we think about growth and innovation, there's a great article in The Economist recently about the difference between pure innovation and applied innovation. When we're talking about innovation, we're talking about applied innovation. So by working with Bottle Rocket, you will have things that are made practical, useful, and applicable to your business. So, right, we have all been to CES and heard the big data, AI, personalization, but we never actually bring it down to a level where it makes sense. Some of the things that over the last 2 years we've been investing very heavily in is enabling capabilities to do things just like that. One example of this would be we're working with some of the industry best partners out there with regard to engagement platforms, anything to do with product analytics. And these would be firms like Braze, Amplitude, Pendo, Mixpanel, and others, where we're starting to build this skill set and tool set to give you those insights that, one, you have confidence in. And I think a lot of us out there have a lot of enterprise level data, but we're not necessarily confident that that data is accurate. And that's a big deal. So the first thing we've been investing in is ensuring that we can help give you confidence in the data that you do have, making that data actionable across your entire organization. And, Al really touched on this, and some of our projects have nothing to do with digital, have a lot to do with organizational design, have a lot to do with how we're orchestrating on-premises experiences to enable some of those off-premises digitized interactions. And that's a lot to do with data and making that actionable. Another place we're really actively leaning in, and this is always a consistent thread within our organization, is just ensuring that our team is really pushing the envelope and staying connected. And one way that has materialized in our conversation thus far today is just this ecosystem of tools we built. I'd really encourage everybody to get in touch with the person that they know at Bottle Rocket to talk a little bit more about it. working remote as a result of COVID was not a huge shift for us. It's not like we had to spin up a bunch of new software tools. It's not to say we didn't change certain processes, but fundamentally, we had all of the infrastructure needed to do that. And that is Slack, Jira, Confluence at the base level, but all the way down into these individualized tools to serve specific functions. So we're continuously focusing on driving innovation and testing tools internally. And one great example of this is Miro. So when the pandemic came around, we realized that we did not have the right tools to orchestrate what used to be a very physical interaction of whiteboarding and what we would call discovery. So we tested a bunch of tools in the marketplace and found out that Miro was a really good result. So why do I say this, and why are we looking at our internal tools as an example of innovation? Because that's a really good way to think about how we think about innovation. We have folks within our entire organization who are so passionate about specific topics. And this ranges on one side to machine learning and big data, to the other side of purely experience-oriented things, where they are acting as consumers. They're bringing that knowledge back into the ecosystem. We're looking within our portfolio of clients and prospective clients, seeing where that's applicable, and then building plans to operationalize that. So if I were to leave you with one thing about how Bottle Rocket thinks about growth and innovation, we're not going to try to bring a topic out there that seems sexy, that seems like a big conversation piece. We're going to bring something to you that we can both show you the value in it, bring a project plan about how we're going to operationalize it, clearly demonstrate the risks, because all innovation carries risks. And that's part of the trusting relationship. That's part of all of these conversations we've been having today, which is there is a tremendous amount of trust you place when you select a partner to help you deliver against your goals across your organization. And that's especially true with regard to digital product development. And some of these innovation features are huge risk drivers. And we will clearly tell you all of that we know when we know it, so that you have a clear plan of how this makes sense. And if there's things that you want us to check out that might not be on our radar, I can promise you, you will have receptive audiences across the entire organization. I see everyone smiling right now, because that's a huge part of how we challenge ourselves and why we're here. We're here because we're passionate about staying on that bleeding edge of applied innovation in the marketplace and making that operational and actionable to you. That's what I got, Rajesh.
All right, cool, Peter. It's great. It's terrific. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We're coming to the end. I'm going to wrap up and just say a couple things. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to everything you do every day for our clients and for Bottle Rocket. Number two, I want to thank everyone who joined today. As you are thinking about selecting a partner, as you are thinking about what partner to continue working with, we want you to know about us. And hopefully you had a chance to meet more of the team, hear a little bit about our thinking. Maybe we are the right fit for your organization, and maybe we're not, and that's okay too. It's really important that there is mutual fit. In terms of a framework to use when evaluating and selecting a partner, I think about team. Do you like the team? Is the team capable? Do they have the passion and purpose and mission? Two, I think about capability. Does the organization that you're partnering with have the breadth and depth of capability to meet your needs? And number three, I think about what's their track record? How have they lived their values? How have they demonstrated success? I'd love for you to take away that you see we've been doing this for a long time, that we have lots of experience, that we're passionate people, that we are fortunate to be able to work. I'm fortunate that I work with exceptionally smart coworkers who can literally make anything happen. We work hard, we play hard, we're fun-loving people who truly care about your business and your success. We're here to answer questions anytime. We want to thank you all for the time that you've spent with us today, and have a great day, everybody, wherever you are.